What's going on, everybody? Got another show for you on this great Thursday. Um, Generally, I'm just gonna say it. Um, we noticed that 2024, 2025, a lot of companies just kind of, well, ignored Pride Month. They didn't really care about it. They didn't really. A number of them didn't even change their logos or anything like that because a lot of these companies realize that it's kind of a degenerate movement in general. Even some of these lefty ones, and they knew it was, well, they thought it would hurt their bottom lines. That's probably more of what it was than anything. But that's all. As I'm seeing people on X say that pride is dying, I'm seeing NFL, NBA, NHL, MB, what is it? Baseball, whatever the hell it is, man. I don't watch none of that shit. It's just pointless. But anyway, so pretty much all of them, all the various teams and the orgs themselves have let out new logos, and they're all doing it now. I've in the past on all of my shows, in the past, have pointed out that the reason that they keep circling back to this, despite it not being very popular, is because conservatives don't have the backbone to boycott any of these things. If that offends you, you're one of these people. That would probably be because I'm right. But at the end of the day, sports, like anything else, are an addiction. Like me, for example, I use cannabis for my back largely. I don't smoke it all day. If my back's bothering me at night, I smoke it. Many of the same people that are addicted to sports will tell me that I'm a junkie for choosing cannabis over prescribed pills from a doctor. Legally, by the way, I'm doing it legally in my state. Prescribed pills from my doctor that actually ruin families, actually ruin lives, and so on, and turn into other more serious habits. But these people don't seem to understand that what they're doing is definitely an addiction, because when these companies shit on their core beliefs, they say they're going to boycott, and by 1 or 2 years later, sometimes less, they're right back to watching it. It's the most hypocritical thing, I think, about conservatives that I can even think of right now. There's a few. That's why I don't consider myself conservative. I'm just MAGA, Make America Great Again. Let's do it. I've got, 3 kids, 2 of which are adult boys trying to make their way in the world. Let's make this country for them and not, foreigners and so on, and not these weird people that can't figure out where their genitalia is supposed to go. But that's just my take on it. End of the day, we're going to do a pride video. Don't know how long it's going to be. Got quite a few things bookmarked, and as you can imagine, a lot of it comes from Libs of TikTok. Let's start here. Libs of TikTok, oh my God, Wink Wink, an adult sex toy shop in Bellingham, Washington, is hosting inclusive sex education classes for children as young as 9 years old. Why the F is a sex shop inviting children into their store? Extremely disturbing. Here's the, I guess, flyer. Pleasure is our revolution. Wink, wink in the window. Uncringe Academy. Sex ed without the most of the awkward. For 9 to 12 years old, for 13 to 17-year-olds, they offer different things. It's so small, I can't even read it. Don't probably want to. They give the dates and everything. Now, I will point out to you that the same people that do these sorts of things are the same people that like to play the victim when people like me, who did used to support gay marriage, honestly, I did. I laughed at fundamental Christians and all those people. I'm like, just stop. They just want to be happy. They just want to be married, yada, yada, yada. And then quickly figured out that they were right, and that was just the precursor that these more, I mean, look, don't get me wrong. Before I move on with what I was about to say, there are gay people out there on the right and on the left who dislike pride for these very reasons, who don't like these groomers, who don't like these people, and definitely hate the fact that the LGB is expanded to like 90 freaking letters plus signs and minus signs and all these different things now. Okay, so we get that. We understand that, right? Totally understand that. But what we also understand is that you're not the loudest voices in the room. Yeah, some of these people might have, YouTube or TikTok channels. I don't give a shit, honestly. They honestly they don't get a lot of traction, unlike some of these degenerate ones do. First off, but at the end of the day, you're just a small voice. You need, this is a small minority. Gay people are not a major minority like they want, or a majority like they want you to believe, right? They're trying to make it so that that's what happens. But what we're seeing is that the ones that are sane when it comes to stuff like this, they either get drowned out or they're just quiet because they want to stick to themselves while they watch all this play out. Then the community as a whole likes to play victim, as though those of us who have changed our stance quite a bit since that all happened are mean, bullies, awful when they're doing things like that to kids. I guess that's my greatest point here, is that I don't respect any of it whatsoever anymore. I used to, but now I've seen where it's devolved to, and I don't feel bad about saying that at all whatsoever. Period. So, then we got this from Lids of TikTok. Inbox language class at Salisbury High School in Pennsylvania has gender mutilation flags posted in the classroom as part of a word of the day board. A source tells me that this display has been up for years and it's making numerous students uncomfortable. Schools are trans grooming centers. I can't say that I am going to argue that. We know that the teachers' unions push all this and so on. We've got another one here. Let's take a look. I'm just trying to show you the kickoff to what is Pride Month so far. Inbox. The Mosaic District of Fairfax, Virginia reportedly took down the American flag and replaced it with a pride flag. Whoops, I almost... The American flag was then dumped onto a public bench like trash. Disgusting. Let's take a look. Yeah, you can see they have it hanging here on the left-hand side picture. And then there's the American flag just left on like it's nothing, right? And that's really, truly the way that these people think. Because honestly, this kind of gay agenda that they like to make fun of people for saying exists is actually rooted in communism. If you can confuse, especially the trans aspect to it, if you can confuse people into believing that they are something they're not, you can control them for a lifetime nearly until they somehow physically, mentally, whatever, break that cycle in their own minds. You can control them into what they vote for, what they'll accept, what they'll tolerate. You can obviously control them into violence on what they perceive as their enemies, as their opponents, and so on. And that's just the reality. It's in the Communist Manifesto, in the handbook, all that crap. And we've got this Motor City Pride. This is in Detroit. Detroit Mayor Mary Sheffield helped raise the pride flag in Spirit Plaza in ceremony leading up to this weekend's annual Motor City Pride Festival and Parade. Expected to draw some 65,000 people to the riverfront. And here she is doing all that. Now, this is all happening while the ghettos around this particular area of the city, people are being robbed, murdered, strung out on drugs, high crime, so on. This just goes to show you Democrat priorities. They'd rather do these types of things than actually fix things for the African-American people in their community and stuff, who you see sitting right there, just proudly supporting all this, while a lot of these people will go back home to a ghetto full of garbage. I've seen it. I've been to Detroit, right? I live here, not in Detroit, but in Michigan. Outside downtown, it is not great. Let's just put it that way. In a lot of the areas, she'd be better off to focus on, important things like crime and so on. But no, we're doing this instead because that's actually what Democrats care about. They don't actually care about fixing things for minorities. They say they do because it gives them something to run on. But if they actually fix it, like we see our president trying to do all around the country, like in Washington, D.C., if they actually fix it, then they can't run on it. So here we go. We've got Libs of TikTok again, of course. PBS has a children's program called Reading Rainbow. I actually watched that when I was a kid. That program made a social media post promoting Pride Month and celebrating LGBTQ riots. They're teaching kids to become left-wing activists. So I don't know how this will pan out when I bring it up, but let's see. It says Reading Rainbow, the iconic award-winning PBS children's series that introduced generations of children to the love of books. And the post over here says, Happy Pride Month. Every June, Pride Month is celebrated in the United States. June was chosen to commemorate the riots held by members of the LGBTQIA plus community against a police raid at a Stonewall Inn in New York City on June 28, 1969. According to the Library of Congress, the Stonewall riots were a tipping point for the gay liberation movement in the United States. So, yeah, that's absolutely insane. So if you let your kids watch Reading Rainbow and you're against this kind of stuff, are you going to boycott it or are you going to cave? Because all I've seen from conservative, it's just funny. Like Netflix doing all that cuties crap and all this other crap. Obama has his fingers in it, or did. I don't know if he still does. And all these conservatives, I'm canceling Netflix. You should cancel Netflix. Why is it that the beginning of this year or the end of last, I can't remember, they were telling me to do that again? I haven't had Netflix in probably close to 5 years, mainly because of cuties alone. And then when I found out about Obama being involved in any of it, I definitely was like, yep, cool, gone, done. So all I can tell you is that these people keep doing these things because they know there's no long-term repercussions from 77 million people. Now, Trump, he also pushes, he shows up at football games and stuff. He likes sports or whatever. He always has. I don't hold it against him to some degree because he is also the president who is kind of supposed to show up to events like that. It's just a tradition. I think it's dumb, but that's what happens. It's one thing I can kind of jab at Trump for. I wish that he didn't support the NFL and so on like he did. I was not happy with him when he was like telling people to buy Bud Light again. Like, what was the point? Now, I don't know what Bud Light's done this year as far as pride and so on. But I can assure you that I didn't drink Bud Light before the boycott because it tastes like piss. So I just always have boycotted Bud Light and Budweiser. I'm not a big fan. And honestly, within a couple cans of it or whatever around a bonfire, I end up with a headache. It's not good beer in my opinion. But hey, man, we are programmed to believe that it's the beer of beers, the American beer, yada, yada, yada. And that it's really wonderful because of that. I disagree, but whatever. So then we got this from Jason Robertson. This is an actual slide coming out of today's Senate hearing on gender transitions. What the actual F? Ages for starting gender transitions. And they're talking, these are hospitals, mind you, right? Duke Health, 2 years old. What? UNC Health, 3 years old. What? ECU Health, 4 years old. Many of these ages are kids still in diapers, kids that are just learning to talk, and you're trying to tell me that they already know they're a girl or a boy when they're actually not. And you're willing to see, and I'm one of those, I'm a fascist. I think the doctors doing this stuff, I think they need to be held accountable and put in prison, work camps, in my opinion. Put them in work camps. So here we have Peppa Pig, really popular for a lot of parents that just shove their kids in front of TV. Peppa Pig is a show for young children. They're promoting LGBTQ Pride Month. TikTok again. Disgusting. Parents beware. Happy Pride Month to all our friends. We're celebrating the joy of being yourself and the many wonderful families and friendships that make our world special. Just an FYI, they just busted another gay couple for abusing children that they adopted. All right, so here we go. Libs of TikTok again. I told you it'd be a lot of libs of TikTok. They're on this every year, and I'm only going to cover Pride for this video because I just get so sick of seeing the degenerate shit that I'm not going to cover it every show. Like, it's just not worth it. I mean, other people should be doing what I'm doing right now so that people can see reality. So. Whoops, I didn't mean to click that. Sorry. Breaking. This is, I think, some good news. Madison Heights, Michigan City Council votes to remove drag show from the LGBT Pride event. The drag queen says the drag shows teach kids about self-expression, aka alternative gender identities, and the cancellation reminds us why this work matters. The work he's referring to is confusing kids about their gender. That's what Drag Queen Story Hour Time was created for. The quiet part out loud. Agreed. You know, a lot of farmers still shop at Tractor Supply, and a lot of people still don't seem to understand that at Tractor Supply, they actually sponsored a lot of this. I think they still may, as a matter of fact. I don't know if they ever quit when they got called out. I called them out before. I can't think of the guy's name, but he's all over X back in the day calling these people out long after I called all these companies out and their ESG scores and all that they were doing this for. But, you know, he has money behind him and he was a bigger voice, so he got the traction. I can't say I'm mad about it because it brought it to people's attention. I mean, while all these liberal cities are doing these sorts of things, this is what's going on in their cities, by the way. I think this is New York. It's coming from the New York Post. This is what people in the cities, while their leaders are raising pride flags and Mamdani's waving trans flags proudly with a dumb smirk on his face and stuff. This is what New Yorkers get to deal with. I don't know what happened to that lady, but you can see her head hit that cover when she goes down. Twice. Like, that's absolutely insane to see that, knowing that these people, like I said, are raising pride trans flags when you can't even walk down their streets without falling through a manhole cover. It's absolutely insane to me. And then we've got this. This is coming out of Nashville, Tennessee, of course. This is an officer. This is from Jebra Fauché. The lesbian police officer is going around with rainbow stickers to let you know which businesses are safe. This is a Metro Nashville. You're safe there. Watch this.
I love being a part of it. I love being able to go out with my wife throughout the entire city and being able to say, hey, I put that sticker on that business. As of this morning, we have 129 different businesses. So a safe place is basically a business will get in contact with me. I'll come out to the location and go over the program. It's basically a safe place, essentially, for any victim of any hate crime whatsoever to come into the business, inform the business owners or the employees what happened to them, and then that business is responsible for keeping the
Keep in mind, for people like this boy-looking mess on the screen, a hate crime would be misgendering somebody because you know they're the male or female, right? Pretending to be the other thing. That's a hate crime to these people. Yeah. So you can go run to these businesses and go cry about it, and this person will show up and read you your rights for, you know, just being sane.
The victim in a safe public spot and then calling 911 on the behalf. Fun fact is that lipstick and chapstick are both part of Safe Place, but they're also one of the first ones when I came on to be the LGBTQ liaison, signed up to be a part of the Safe Place program. I think more now than ever, somebody needs to know that they're loved, whether it's within their blood family or within their chosen family. There's people out there for you, and to not be scared to live your full, authentic self.
These are the same people that have made up terms for straight people, like cisgender and so on, just to degrade them and so on, the best that they can. Absolutely retarded. So anyway, we've got this. This is coming from Erica Donalds here. You can see she says, under Biden, June at the Department of Education meant pride flags. Under President real Donald Trump, June means celebrating Title X and protecting women and girls. Woke is out, common sense is back at DOE. And then you can see here, U.S. Department of Education. Under President Trump, the days of allowing men and women's sports in private spaces are over. This June marks the second annual Title X month, or Title 4, sorry. I keep saying Title X. I'm so tired, y'all. Title 4 month. We will never stop protecting and defending women and girls. This was under Biden, the pride flag you see there. Pathetic. So there you have it. We've got that. And then we've got this from Libs of TikTok as well. Let's get it up there. Silver Spring Elementary School, Stoon Public Schools, they tagged here, right here. Saskatoon. In Canada launched Pride Month by having kids go on a school-wide walk to celebrate the ideology of mental illness and genital mutilation. Parents, they're coming for your children. This is everywhere. Beware. Facts. Those are facts. Those are actual facts. And we've got this right here. This is DC Mayor. Trump's forced to work with this weirdo. Muriel Bowser says that the city is the gayest city in the world.
51 years of pride in the future 51st state. And both movements are rooted in the same belief. Every person deserves to be seen, heard, and fully represented. We're celebrating Pride Month in the gayest city in the world.
All right, so the 51st state, they're just kind of letting you know their plans still. They want to, pack the Supreme Court and do all that stuff. And you've got podcasters that are supposedly on the right telling you that you need to vote for these people to get Trump and show him on all this and that. I did a whole video on that yesterday. End of the day, though, when she says that people deserve to be seen, people see gay people all year long. What does that mean? Why do we need a whole month dedicated to them to see them be degenerate? It just blows my mind. So here you have it. Hey, there's other gays that'll say exactly what I just said. So besides these people, I mean, there's like other gay people out there who aren't buying into all this nonsense. New Orleans drag queen says kids need drag shows because they need the encouragement to be LGBTQ and need a push to be inclusive. The quiet part out loud, they say. Let's take a look.
So much negativity in the world going on right now when it comes to the acronym LGBTQIA, right? Children need to hear that encouragement.
Why do you think that is, Chief? Why do you think that there's so much negativity attached to it? This is one of the reasons. You're looking at on the screen right now. One of the reasons.
Children need to hear that they matter. Children need to hear that everything in their life isn't negative.
And I'll just point out, look again. Two men with a kid, sad. Those aren't two separate dads, I guarantee it. Just another kid being groomed in the ideology. Two women. Now, these could be lesbians or whatever, but odds are these are just, liberal soccer moms that think this is stunning and brave to bring their kids to a degenerate event like this. So, yeah, here you go.
Opportunity to push them to be better adults and push them to be more inclusive of everything that goes on around them. So much.
You have to include gays in everything or you're a bigot. Literally everything. Just insane. And then here's a little cringe for you. We've got, this is coming from Frank McCormick. I just followed that guy. It seems like a pretty decent account. This is so weird. At Palestine, Illinois City Hall meeting, one person used the public comment time to ask everyone who brought a pride flag to wave it. Then they did this, and that was it. So let's take a look at what they did and what it was. What in the absolute? Oh, and they call us in MAGA a cult, bro. Really? So here you go. You got Boston City Hall raises an LGBTQ plus flag as a choir sings Pride Month carols. This is not AI. Oh, this ought to be good. Let's take a look. That's coming from N Wokenit. Never mind, you can hear it. All right, that was cringe. I'm getting used to it. You notice I have no headphones on. I've got speakers over there, but for some reason this just didn't come through them this time. Everything else has, though. Libs of TikTok. Drag queen twerks for young children at a family-friendly all-ages Pride Festival in Connecticut. Look at this. Absolutely degenerate. Absolutely degenerate. These parents should be prosecuted. I'm just going to be honest. And then we've got this right here. Why is American Eagle, obviously lives at TikTok again, why is American Eagle sponsoring LGBTQ pride events for kids to celebrate alternative gender identities and mental illness? Heads up, if you shop at American Eagle, this is what you're supporting. And it's a pride dinner at Sinclair. I'm not really sure where. It's really hard to read, even with my bifocals. Sinclair Community College. I'm not sure where that would be. You can see American Eagle right there sponsoring it. Absolutely not shocking, I'm going to be honest. I know a lot of people on the right that wear American Eagle because it says American on it and has an eagle, and they'll probably keep wearing American Eagle despite all that. Then we've got this inbox, the libs of TikTok again. LGBT pride flag decor spotted at the Disney resort right outside a kid's toy store. Disney wants to groom your kids. Yeah. And then we just had them workers on the ships, not just Disney, but a few others, but Disney took the front and center, that were actually trading CSAM on a Disney cruise. And the left lost their minds when they got arrested because they were, foreign or whatever. You're not allowed to arrest foreign people for nasty stuff. And then that came out and they all look stupid. So here we have it. This is last thing we're going to talk about, other than the fact I just wanted to throw in there. The media kind of melted down yesterday because Trump has refused to acknowledge this month as Pride Month. Okay. Why do I point that out? Because Podcastistan wants you to vote for Democrats. Meanwhile, Trump is not even acknowledging that this is a month that exists so far, and he didn't last year either. So this is from Chris Houck. Bizarre Disney-owned ABC's Good Morning America kicked off Pride Month with back-to-back segments. One of Deals and Steals featuring LGBTQIA plus owned businesses, and the other celebrating same-sex salsa dancing. That literally goes on for 5 minutes, guys. I'm not going to play it all. I just wanted to show you how cringe these people actually are. Again, you can show up in droves at the midterms. You can kick out the rhinos during the primaries. You can do all these things, and we can take back our country and restore sanity. Or you can listen to Podcastistan and vote Democrats or not show up because you seem to be thinking that Trump isn't doing this one thing that you have to have him do, even though odds are, if you really looked into it, he's probably doing that thing that you don't think he's doing. You're just not hearing about it, depending on who you follow. Anyway, guys, that is the degenerate month of June. From here on out, I will ignore all pride bullshit. Boycott who you want or don't, but don't complain if you choose not to boycott things and you go back to watching or partaking in those things and they keep doing the same thing that you were supposed to, you were upset about. You got nobody to complain to but yourself because you're the one sending the money to sponsor things like that. Anyway, guys, that's what I got for you today on that half hour on Pride. All right? We're not going to talk about it anymore. Peace out.